Alive and alert on the north side of the dirt. It is your man D Real coming at you with another Be Real with D Real, where Edutainment explains it. Hey, I guess this is just the weekend for reviews. Like I told y'all, I was gonna be coming at y'all with a Dune review. We're gonna talk about Dune, the full movie. Tell you about what it looked like, tell you what the plot was, what the story was. But if most of y'all have seen the 84 version, you know what Dune was about. And if you are even a serious Dune fan, you watched the sci-fi series Dune in 2000, and then 2003 its sequel, The Children of Dune. Well, this Dune movie kind of follows more in the footsteps of that series, as well as the novel itself, because 84 version really watered down, y'all. Really watered down. Now I'm gonna give you the skinny about this current version, and then I'm gonna tell you how I felt, overall about the movie, so on and so forth, and then we get you up out of here in a reasonable amount of time. Okay. But before we do what we want to do, we first got to do what we have to do, and that is comment, like, subscribe, and share the Be Real with D Real page so that when new material comes out, you get it. If you're digging what a brother shoveling, put some dirt in my bucket. Comment, like, subscribe, and share, because edutainment, what I do. And we're going to do it on Dune. Right here. I'm going to decrease again. Boom. There it is. So many names. I can't even list them all. Timothy Chalamet leads an all-star cast in the 1960 science fiction classic Dune, which features such stars as Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, who you may remember from the Mission Impossible series, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, because he's inevitable, Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Dave Bautista, and Christopher Walken. And we can't forget Stellan Skarsgård as the Baron Harkonnen. Now, let's talk a little bit about what Dune is about. Dune is, for lack of a better term, a part of Star Wars before it was Star Wars. Dune inspired the political intrigue in Star Wars. Dune inspired the I'm going to get revenge for my mama, I'm going to get revenge for my daddy type of trope. Paul Atreides, if you didn't see the first movie, is the son of Duke Leto Atreides, whom the Emperor Shaddam IV, played by Christopher Walken, thinks basically the Atreides are getting too big for their bridges, because a prophecy says somebody in the Atreides family is going to come through and just wreck shop. But that's the political intrigue part. The Atreides are systematically wiped out in the first movie. Paul and his mother are some of the last left, who end up crashing on Arrakis, a desert planet. This desert planet holds spice. Spice is kind of the equivalent of diamonds, coal, oil. It's life for the galaxy, in other words. And so there's a lot of political jockeying going on, strange bedfellows, that kind of thing. So you got the Harkonnen and the Atreides. Harkonnen wiped the Atreides out. Here we are on Arrakis. He and his mother go through the process of actually becoming Fremen. Okay. For Lady Jessica, who's played by Rebecca Ferguson, is already a Bene Gesserit acolyte. It is a lot easier for her to acclimate to Arrakis, because she eventually becomes a Reverend Mother in her own right. And you see her on that poster in the middle. That's kind of like what she's rocking when she comes into her full power, because she drinks the water of life, which is Arakan water kind of mixed with fluid that comes out of the sandworms. Yeah, that's the process. Meanwhile, while all of this is going on and Paul is becoming, a Fremen warrior and just a Fremen in general, there is a love story burgeoning between he and Chani, who is played by Zendaya, and she helps him to acclimate to the ways of Arrakis, even though deep down inside she feels um, he's up to something. Even though I love him, even though the sex is dope, he's up to something. And she's right, because Paul is being influenced by his mother. And his mother wants to use the prophecy of 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 the Kwisatz Haderach, Kwisatz Haderach, Kwisatz Haderach, Kwisatz, one word, Haderach, another word. It almost sounds like one whole word. Kwisatz Haderach. Okay, and this will be the being, I guess, for lack of a better term, that you could call who would bring order to the force, who would bring balance to the force. That's kind of what the Kwisatz Haderach is, because he's possessed of paranormal abilities. And when you are incorporated into the Fremen diaspora, you are given a name. And the name that Stilgar gives, and we know this if we read it, but this is for the rubes. The name that he gives to Paul is Usul. And Usul has to choose his own name for himself, and that is what becomes his Fremen name. So he is already Usul. What does he choose his name as? He chooses Muad'Dib. A lot of people used to think, oh, Muad'Dib means something like a god. No, Muad'Dib in Arakan means desert rat kangaroo rat. You know what I mean? But then you think about it, and the deeper meaning is a kangaroo rat is a survivor in the desert. A kangaroo rat understands how the rules and laws of the desert work, so he can eat and not be eaten. And so the legend of Muad'Dib is born. He becomes this guerrilla fighter who is just smashing and destroying and crushing all the Harkonnen operations on Arrakis. And they don't know what to do with him. They don't know what to do with him. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So then, a quick pause for the cause to talk about action figures real quick. Dune has action figures. Bam. Look at that action figure line. A whole bunch of action figures courtesy of McFarlane Toys. Thank you. There's Fremen, there's Harkonnen, and there's Atreides himself. And there in the back, look, it's Zendaya as Shani. Yet another immortalization of Zendaya in action figure form. Her parents must be proud. But anyway, part of him becoming a Fremen, I'm going to get to it in a second, is learning to ride a sandworm. And he learns to do that most effectively because that is a mode of travel that the Fremen use, because they have sort of a sympathetic relationship with the desert. Back to Muad'Dib smashing everything and causing problems and causing trouble and causing everything. Their answer, because the Beast Raban, who was in charge of that, couldn't get it done, played by Dave Bautista, they bring in that guy right there, Faye Rautha Harkonnen, the brother of the Beast Raban, who they had locked up somewhere because he's so sadistic and homicidal and psychopathic that he ain't nobody safe. His relatives ain't safe. His friends ain't safe. He's just a sexually starved homicidal maniac. Perfect to put against Muad'Dib. And that is who the Baron makes the governor, the ruler of Arrakis. And he comes in and just wrecks shop too. Raises hell, killing folks, kicking ass, and taking names. The whole time, Paul's still plotting. Paul's still planning. Paul's still getting his folks together for a rebellion. And the Fremen in the South are numerous because and I guess they were thinking that there was nobody in the South, but moms went ahead and spread the message. So now you've got the religious fundamentalists who believe Muad'Dib is a god, ready to fight and die for him. And here is our army that squares off against the forces of your man Ralph there, and it boils down to some of this sandworms handling everybody, putting them on the run. Paul and his forces coming in and wrecking shop and letting the emperor know, bruh, we got your number. It's time for you to step down. I'm going to take over unless you got a champion that's going to stand in for you. Enter the climactic battle of the movie between Faye Ralpha and Paul Atreides. Now, there is a lot of action in this movie. Let me tell you, that's how I didn't know 2 hours and 46 minutes had went by. You know, we get in there like 8:30. I mean, the movie don't start till like 8:45, 9 o'clock, but it's almost 12:30 when we walking out of there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, wow, that was a lot of action, and it held my attention enough to where I wasn't like stressing about what time is it. So it's a long movie, but it's a long movie in a good way. It keeps you jacked in. You're plugged into it for sure. Now, this is the part I love right here. Real quick, merchandise. May thy knife chip and shatter. That's what they say to each other before they square off in that knife fight. And let me tell you something. The choreography and the tempo of this knife fight, to me, is the equivalent of a beautiful lightsaber duel. Yeah. I think we might have came to another level cinematically when it comes to fights. I mean, this to me, even though it was sci-fi, this was John Wick level fighting as far as the choreography is concerned. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't unrealistic. You know what I mean? In other words, if you saw this on a street, two people getting into a fight with knives, it looks very realistic. That's what I'm getting at. Faye Ralpha, Paul Atreides squaring off, final battle. And then when the battle is over, because the emperor and his daughter and his entire, his army comes to Arrakis to try to quell Muad'Dib and get squashed. First, Paul kills the Baron Harkonnen. Then Paul takes out Faye Ralpha. Then Paul, in front of Chani, his love, whom he told at one point he will always love forever, announces him taking over as emperor, or getting ready to, and wedding Irulan, the daughter of the emperor, to legitimize the throne. Yeah. Chani had a worse look than that on her face when he said that. Because I'm like, wow. And he told her he's doing what he has to do. He wasn't breaking her heart because he was being cruel. He was breaking her heart because it was part of what he had to do to solidify his power base. He already got his revenge. but he wants to seize power because that was the main issue. It was always the main issue. Are you here to liberate us, or are you here to seize power? Side note, there is an amazing looking Paul Atreides fade Ralph the Harkonnen double box set. It's dope. I like it. I might be copping it. I can do things with that fade Ralph. I like those knives. So, back to business. Long story short, the politics of what had to happen on Arrakis basically squashed the relationship between Chani and Paul Usul Muad'Dib. Meanwhile, Lady Jessica, who we all know was pregnant before they got to the planet, and so she's having baby Aaliyah, I think is her name. Her voice, because the baby was exposed to the spice and the holy water too. So the baby is like sentient in the womb. The baby's talking to Lady Jessica, and the baby is helping her plan and plot a lot of what's going on. And so when this movie ends, it ends with the forces of the Fremen going to engage the other houses, because the other royal houses are descending on Arrakis as well. Because Spice is serious. Spice is serious. So that is essentially what goes on when this movie ends. They're going out to engage. They aren't fighting. You don't see any boom, boom, bam, bam, bam. You just see them all going out. We're going out into space to engage them. And that's how the movie ends. So there's got to be a part 3. There's got to be a part 3. If that's how you end the movie, you're going to fail big time. And speaking of failing big time, $190 million budget. So far, they've only made $32 million. Money ain't everything, y'all. That's the best way I can summarize that. But just based on what the images I've shown you and what I've told you, do you think you want to go see Dune Part 2? If you haven't seen Dune Part 1, it's still on, I want to say Max, or it's still out there on some streaming service. You can see the first Dune before you go and see the second Dune. That's about 5 hours of viewing between those two movies, just so you know. The first one was 2 hours and 36 minutes. The second was 2 hours and 46 minutes. So, but worth it, like I said, because you don't even realize how the time's flying. So that's that right there, y'all. You tell me what y'all want to do. Y'all want to check it out? You think it's worth it? I do. I gave it like an 8 out of 10. That's how much I liked it. So Dune's there. It's popping. I suggest you go check it out. Florence Pugh is obviously going to figure largely into the next arc, because he making babies, and them babies is gonna be. But that's it, y'all. That's it for my review of Dune Part 2. Let me know in the comments what y'all thought. If you got questions, comments, all that good stuff. That's where it's going. That's it for now, but fret not, y'all. I'll be coming at you with another one of them other ones. And until I do, y'all be good. Be good to each other.